Picture this. You're scrolling through your phone, mindlessly tapping away, lost in a digital rabbit hole. Hours slip by, and you don't even realize it. Sounds familiar, right? Hooked: How to Build Habit-Forming Products by Nir Eyal uncovers the secret behind apps like Instagram and TikTok that keep you glued to your screen. But here's the twist. What if these addictive designs aren't just trapping you? What if they're teaching you how to build products people can't resist? Hooked doesn't just expose the tricks, it gives you the blueprint to create habits that stick. Want to make your product the one users can't put down? Stick around, because Hooked is about to reveal 7 game-changing takeaways that'll make you rethink everything about human behavior. Imagine a world where your product isn't just used, it's craved. Where customers don't just buy it, they need it, like coffee in the morning or that one song stuck in your head. Hooked: How to Build Habit-Forming Products isn't just a book. It's a psychological masterclass disguised as a business guide. Nir Eyal cracks the code to why we check our phones 150 times a day. Yes, according to a 2023 Statista study, that's the average for smartphone users. But why do some products hook us while others flop? What's the invisible force that makes Netflix autoplay the next episode while your app sits untouched? And most importantly, how can you harness this power ethically to build something people love? Hooked answers these questions with a model so simple, yet so profound, it's like discovering gravity for product design. Get ready for 7 takeaways that'll not only blow your mind, but arm you with tools to create the next big thing. Takeaway 1. The Hook Model, your 4-step recipe for addiction. Let's kick things off with the heart of Hooked, the Hook Model. Think of it like a recipe for your grandma's famous chocolate chip cookies. 4 simple ingredients that, when mixed just right, create something irresistible. Nir Eyal's Hook Model has 4 steps: trigger, action, variable reward, and investment. Miss one, and your product's as forgettable as a soggy cookie. Hooked explains that triggers, like a notification ping, spark the urge to act. The action is the swipe or click. The variable reward keeps you guessing, like a slot machine. And the investment? That's you pouring your time or data into the app, making it harder to leave. Take Nir's example of Instagram. You get a notification, trigger. You tap to open, action. You scroll, not knowing if you'll see a cute dog video or a friend's vacation pic, variable reward. Then you post a photo, investing in the app's ecosystem. Boom, you're hooked. According to a 2022 report by data.ai, users spend an average of 11.7 hours a month on Instagram. That's not luck, that's the Hook Model at work. Ever wonder why Candy Crush keeps you playing just one more level? Hooked tells the story of how game designers use variable rewards to make every level feel like a gamble you can't resist. It's like Pavlov's dogs, but instead of salivating for food, you're chasing digital candy. This takeaway isn't just theory. It's a playbook. Want your fitness app to be as addictive as a mobile game? Start with a trigger, like a reminder to log your workout, and make the reward unpredictable, like a surprise badge or a motivational quote. Hooked shows you how to bake addiction into your product, ethically and effectively. But what starts this cycle? What's the spark that gets users to act in the first place? Stay tuned, because Hooked has a surprising answer. Takeaway 2. Triggers, internal urges, are the real puppet masters. External triggers like emails or ads are loud, but Hooked reveals a quieter, sneakier force: internal triggers. These are the emotions, boredom, loneliness, stress, that drive us to pick up our phones. Nir Eyal argues that the most habit-forming products don't just shout for attention, they whisper to our deepest feelings. It's like your product becomes a therapist, solving emotional itches before users even realize they're scratching. In Hooked, Nir shares the story of Pinterest. Why do people pin recipes at 2 a.m? It's not just pretty pictures, it's the internal trigger of aspiration or boredom. Pinterest taps into the feeling of, I want to be that person who bakes artisanal bread. A 2021 Pew Research study found that 80% of Pinterest users say the platform helps them feel inspired. That's no accident, it's Hooked in action. Think of internal triggers like the sirens in Greek mythology luring sailors with irresistible songs. Your job is to find your user's siren song. If you're building a meditation app, don't just send push notifications. Target the stress that makes someone crave calm. Hooked teaches you to map your product to emotions, not just features. Imagine Steve Jobs designing the iPhone not as a gadget, but as a cure for boredom. That's the power of internal triggers. So you've got their attention, but how do you make acting on it as easy as breathing? Hooked has a trick up its sleeve. Takeaway 3. Action. The simpler, the stickier. Here's a truth bomb from Hooked. The easier it is to use your product, the more likely people will keep coming back. Nir Eyal borrows from behavioral scientist BJ Fogg, who said behavior happens when motivation, ability, and a trigger collide. If your product feels like climbing Everest, users will bail. Hooked says, make it so simple, it's addictive. Nir tells the story of Twitter's early days. Back when it was called Twitter, the platform was clunky, but when they simplified it to 140-character bursts, it became a habit. Why? Because tweeting was easier than writing a blog. A 2023 analysis by SimilarWeb showed Twitter, now X, users spend an average of 30 minutes daily on the platform. Simplicity sells. Picture your product like a playground slide, smooth, frictionless, and fun. Hooked cites Google's search bar as the gold standard. Type, hit enter, get results. Compare that to a cluttered app with endless menus. Which one wins? If you're launching a budgeting app, don't ask users to input every expense manually. Use autosync with their bank. Hooked shows that reducing friction isn't just user-friendly, it's habit-forming. Okay, users are acting, but what keeps them coming back for more? Hooked unveils a reward system that's pure genius. Takeaway 4. Variable rewards. The slot machine in your pocket. Now we're getting to the juicy part of Hooked. Variable rewards. Nir Eyal explains that our brains crave surprise, like a kid unwrapping a mystery toy. If rewards are predictable, we get bored. But if they're varied, we're hooked. It's why slot machines are addictive, and why apps like TikTok are digital casinos. In Hooked, Nir shares the story of LinkedIn. You check your profile, hoping for a new connection or endorsement. Sometimes you get nothing, other times you're flooded with notifications. That unpredictability keeps you checking. A 2022 LinkedIn report noted that 60% of users log in daily. That's variable rewards doing their magic. Think of variable rewards like a treasure hunt. Hooked compares it to Skinner's pigeons pecking for random food pellets. If you're building a language app, don't just give points for every lesson. Throw in surprise challenges or leaderboards. Hooked warns, predictable rewards are a snooze. Look at how Netflix randomizes recommended for you titles to keep you binge watching. Variable rewards aren't just fun, they're neurological glue. So you're halfway through the Hooked blueprint, but here's a question. Are you ready to build a product that users can't quit? Hit that subscribe button and join our tribe of innovators learning to craft habits that last. What's the one habit you want your users to form? Drop it in the comments and let's brainstorm together. Takeaway 5. Investment. Lock users in with their own effort. Hooked drops a bombshell. The more users invest in your product, the harder it is for them to leave. Investment isn't just money, it's time, data, or emotional energy. Nir Eyal calls it the IKEA effect. People value things they've built themselves, even if it's just a wobbly shelf. Nir shares the story of Evernote in Hooked. The more notes you save, the more valuable Evernote becomes. You're not just using it, you're building a digital brain. A 2021 TechCrunch survey found that 70% of Evernote users stick around for over a year. Why? Because their investment, hundreds of notes, makes switching apps feel like moving houses. Imagine your product as a garden. Every seed users plant, a post, a playlist, a profile, grows their attachment. Hooked points to Spotify's personalized playlists. Users spend hours curating them, making Spotify irreplaceable. If you're creating a fitness tracker, let users log their progress over months, so their data becomes a diary they can't abandon. Hooked teaches that investment isn't a feature, it's a loyalty machine. But can habits go too far? Hooked tackles the dark side of addiction next. Takeaway 6. Ethics matter. Build habits, not harm. Here's where Hooked gets real. Nir Eyal doesn't just teach you how to hook users, he warns against turning them into zombies. Ethical habit forming means solving real problems, not exploiting vulnerabilities. It's like wielding a superpower. Use it for good, not evil. In Hooked, Nir recounts the cautionary tale of slot machine designers who knew their games were addictive, but kept pushing. Contrast that with Duolingo, which uses the hook model to teach languages, not drain wallets. A 2023 Duolingo report showed 50 million active learners, proving you can hook users while helping them grow. Think of your product like a chef's knife, sharp and powerful, but dangerous if misused. Hooked cites historical figures like Edward Bernays, who used psychology to manipulate consumers. That's the dark side of hooks, and Nir warns you to stay on the right side of the line. Your goal isn't just retention, it's positive change. Okay, what if you're still struggling to get your product out there? Don't worry, Hooked has one more trick up its sleeve to ensure you make waves. Takeaway 7. Scaling habits, building for long-term success. Hooked wraps up with a lesson on sustainability. Nir Eyal emphasizes that habit-forming products need to evolve. Building a habit is only the first step. Maintaining it is where the magic happens. It's like planting a tree. It starts small but grows deeper roots over time. Take Airbnb, for example. In Hooked, Nir describes how they evolved from a place to rent rooms to a global travel experience by tapping into the habit of planning and booking. A 2023 Airbnb report showed that 50% of users book within a week of browsing. Their habit-forming approach? It's more than convenience. It's trust, emotional connection, and deepening user involvement. If you're in the business of creating habits, keep your eye on the long game. Invest in customer support, new features, and continual engagement. Hooked shows that when you build trust and adapt to user needs, your product becomes part of their daily routine. That's how you go from startup to empire. Call to action. So whether you're creating the next big social app, a fitness tracker, or even a finance tool, Hooked has laid out the roadmap for success. Want more insights? Hit the subscribe button, join the conversation, and let's keep building habit-forming products that make a difference. Stay tuned for more books, more strategies, and more ways to level up your product game.